Welcome to Community Closeups, a webinar series highlighting the unique and talented individuals in our community. David, how's it going?
It is going good, Bo. We are getting into summer, although the weather's been a little bipolar, been cold here in Los Angeles and then hot and then cold. But I'm eager to get further into the year, and I'm eager to introduce our guest of honor today, Rabia Williams, Office Development MVP. Rabia, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, David and Bo, for having me here. I'm super stoked to be on this show. It's awesome.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. So why don't you start out, as Bo had mentioned, this is really about the individuals and the personalities. So start out by telling our listeners a little bit about yourself, where you're from, maybe your family.
Yeah, so I'm basically from India, and I've been living in Australia for years now. My small family, my husband and my 7-year-old son, we're all living here in Brisbane. I've been working in the development side of things for, I think, 12 years now. Started off as a .NET developer, then a SharePoint developer, and now an Office developer. Yep.
Exciting. How old is your son?
7 years.
7 years. Do you miss the little baby stages, or does it get to the point where you're having more fun as he is becoming a little person?
Every single day I miss the baby son that, who didn't roll eyes, who wouldn't say my choices are also old and stuff. But yeah, I do love this stage as well, because it's a lot easier to handle, especially when you're working from home. You don't have to worry about little babies fooling around. But yeah, I do miss it.
Yeah, my wife misses the baby stage. I never did like it. I'm the youngest of 4 kids, so never had to be around babies. I wanted them to be old enough to talk and tell me what they want. Now they're at that stage. She misses the baby stage. But
Yeah.
David, you are the youngest of all girls too, right?
I am. Yes, I am. Yep. Only boy, 4 older sisters. You'll never find another dude that knows more and is more comfortable around any conversation about anything with women. It's
that's nice
benefit.
Yeah.
Do you have siblings?
I do. I have a sister, and we always used to fight as when we were growing up. So I think siblings are great, not when you're adults, not when you're growing up. You just hate them. But yeah.
Yep, I can empathize.
Tables have turned.
Yeah, my siblings, we weren't really close friends growing up. We've become closer friends as we've become adults, and we can socialize around beer mostly, but that usually helps.
Yeah, there's still big bullies. My sister's a big bully. I mean, and she's like my best friend, but she's always like, oh, what are you wearing? Oh, what is that? And I'm like, oh, you haven't changed a bit.
She's older than you then?
She's older, but very naughty.
Mm.
I'm like the mild one, so you get how my family is now.
Does she live in India still, or did she come over to Australia?
No, she's in India, and she works in a bank. She's good with numbers. I'm not.
You said you're not good with numbers, aka software developer?
Well, math. She's a math. She has a master's in math, and I'm like not the math person. I'm always going to her or my husband for finance related stuff. I can spend, but I really don't get math. Not the software.
So they handle the finances, you spend it. I gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. So she's in the banks. Makes sense. Perfect sense. Yeah.
She's got all the money, so if you need more, then she can get it for you, right?
Totally. Yeah.
So you're doing a lot of working from home right now due to the situation that we're all affected by. You said your favorite drink is coffee. Do you find yourself drinking more coffee working from home than when you went into the office? Or like you said, you've already had 2. It's morning time for you, afternoon for us right now. So you've already had 2?
Yeah. And it's instant coffee. It's poor man's coffee. I've been drinking a lot of tea and coffee. Like, I think it's like every time I get up from my seat, I have to have another drink. I'm like, this is not healthy, Rabia, but I am doing that. And you're quite right. It's been a crazy few months, because I'm drinking all this tea and coffee, and sometimes milk tea. I'm just drinking them over and over, and I'm like, how much milk have you had today? I'm just talking to myself, but I'm like, yeah, you're quite right. This is not good, but yeah, it's happening. But the good thing is I'm not spending money for it. I'm at home and I'm putting my kettle on. So yeah, I'm also saving.
I would say the opposite for me happened when so I started working remotely years ago, but when I worked in an office, I would drink coffee 6, 7 times a day just because I enjoyed going out to see who else was in the coffee area and we could chat. And now that I work from home, I usually just have 1 cup in the morning and I last throughout the day. But
straight to scotch at that point, right? Coffee to scotch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Scotch starts at 11, maybe noon.
That's nice. 11. Wow. That's good. What can you do? Oh, no one's judging, no one's seeing the glass, right?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
So working from home, you said the best way to start your day is watering the plants because it calms you.
Yes, it does. So I'm not really a plant person, but I love watering the garden because it's the first thing you do. Then you clear your mind. You're also thinking about few things, but your mind is actually focused on the plants. And I think that's a great way of getting stuff focused in the morning. It works for me. It's not for I'm not sure if it's the case with everyone, but it works for me. It has been calming me down really well because there's a lot of noise going on these days as well, especially in your head. About work, so it just gives you that space where you can compartmentalize things. So it's working for me.
So I got to ask you, do you talk to the plants?
No.
I know some people do that, right? They're like, they give them names and they talk to them, and I'm like, okay.
Hey, plants live on CO2 and we exhale CO2. So the more you talk to your plants, the happier your plants are.
Oh yeah, that's good.
It's a fact.
Scientific.
So do you guys talk to plants as well, or am I missing something?
I'm like allergic to everything.
Yeah, Dave's allergic to everything. Life, light.
That's right. Yeah.
That's good.
So you're in Brisbane. How long have you been there? Did I miss that?
Yeah, so around 4 years now in Brisbane. Before that, that was a 10-year thing in Middle East. So I was in the Middle East for 10 years, and then I migrated from the Middle East to Brisbane. It's been 4 years now.
So what's your take on the local cuisine? Do you eat lots of meat pies? Are you vegetarian? What do you eat when you're in Australia?
I'm a meatitarian. I love meat. It's exactly why I said it, because I'm such a food person. I love all kinds of cuisine. There are a few things I really don't like, but I love meat. And here I think the more focuses are around steaks or meat pies and stuff, and I just absolutely love them. But I don't really pick a particular cuisine. I just like to try different things.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of meat pies.
Do you miss anything from home that you can't get in Australia that you maybe have learned to cook really well or something like that?
Yeah, I think Indians, we cook everything at home. So I really don't miss anything. Even I can cook. When I tell my friends I could cook naan or butter chicken, they're like, "Wow, really? Do you do it from scratch or do it from a sauce?" And I'm like, "From scratch. Hello." And it's a thing. I think it's similar to Italians. The Italians, they cook pasta at home. They make their own sauce. It's just something they do, and I really don't miss stuff, except maybe I miss my mom's food, but that's because I'm not that good. But I think there isn't anything that you cannot get these days in any part of the world. We are more open. We have more stuff available from every parts of the country, I guess. So yeah, except for a few things, which is probably my town is known for something, but other than that, I can cook anything Indian or anything else I want. So yeah, I don't really miss a lot.
Don't tell your family that.
Yes.
You obviously miss them.
Of course I miss them. It's not their food though. I mean, yeah, I do miss my mom's food. If I don't say this, she's not gonna be really happy when she watches this. It's probably she wouldn't even watch all of this, but she would watch that one part where I said something about her. She'll make sure she do that.
So now with you working more from home, you're spending a lot more time as of recently, I assume, with the family and doing entertainment things, finding things to be entertained with. A 7-year-old, I'm sure that makes it interesting. What have been some of your favorite movies or games that you guys play together?
So my son plays a lot of games. I really don't like playing games. Should I say this? But yeah, there's going to be a lot of I'll get a lot of bad blood for that. But anyway, we do play Rayman together a lot. Me and my son, that's the only thing he can force me to play with him. And then Uno, I love Uno and he loves it too, so we play Uno. The other day, we started this whole watching old movies together, and my son loved Back to the Future, and he watched all 3 of them, and it was fun because I was also watching with him, and I was, you know, really happy. It's not something that he watches usually, like Octonauts or I don't know what he watches these days. It's one of those cartoony thingies, but it's fun. So he loved it, and I think I've been trying to make him watch some old movies, which I liked as a kid, or something Jurassic Park. Yeah, it's been fun, I guess. But Raymond's his favorite when I play with him.
Did he have a favorite one of the Back to the Futures? Was it, you know, because it seems like if you've seen them, you tend to have one of them is always a favorite.
Yeah, he said his second one is his favorite. Yeah, so he even got himself the DeLorean car. He got the second DeLorean car. So yeah, he's pretty excited. He even wants me to say stories about it. We have our imaginary stories as well. Which is pretty exciting because these are things that you know, you remember as a kid, right? So it's great to see our little ones also take that, you know, interest and become excited about stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yep, I agree. My kids are into those as well. Back to the Future and Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
I mean, I go even further back with like Young Frankenstein and Spaceballs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Right. Yeah, that's cool. And what about you, Bo? You have something. I'm not supposed to interview, but I'm just saying out of script.
For like favorite movies and stuff.
Yeah, with your kids, do you
Oh, I have no kids. Yeah, my only child is my dog. So he enjoys Law and Order, Special Victims Unit.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't have any. I don't have a favorite movie per se, and I don't spend time with any kids that I don't have. So I spend my time. I watch TV at night, but I just moved recently, so I've been spending a lot of time in the yard during quarantine, trying to cut down some trees, clean up and stuff. So
that's awesome. That's nice. Oh, yeah, that's a different life. It's peaceful, quiet.
Yeah, it's Dinkers, so it's dual income, no kids, early retirement.
Yes, sounds perfect.
Yeah, that's the lifestyle.
Yeah, that's really good.
So you are also a big music fan. Some of your favorites, Scorpions, Coldplay, Queen, and you said your dad is a singer. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, my dad is, he sings old, vintage, very old Hindi songs. He had his own band when he was young. They were in a band and they toured around the world in the US, Canada, and the Middle East. And then, you know, it was a big deal at that time. I grew up listening to his music, his, you know, cassettes at that time. And yeah, so it's been all around. Music has been all around. The first thing we do when we wake up is put on some music. This was something my mom did, so it has been a big part of my growing up. Because he's also a singer, and then we have parties, or when we have people gathering around, you know, they start the whole singing, and you know, it's probably part of how I grew up. So music has been a big deal for me. And yeah, that's about it.
Do you like, so for me, I'm a big movie fan, but I also love movie scores. And one of the things I like about them is they're kind of emotional, right? But at the same time, I like the lack of lyrics in them. So like when I'm programming, I'll put on this collection of movie scores because it'll kind of inspire me to do cool stuff, but it doesn't distract me if I'm trying to do something complex. So do you have like a favorite collection of music that you like to code to and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah, I do sometimes. It depends on my mood and depends on what I'm working on. But yeah, if you're, do you listen to Alexander Display? I love his music. It's like a background score that, you know, he does background scores, I guess, and I love it. So I do play that album. I have that. Funny you said that because it's one of my favorite albums that I put on so that I'm not distracted by the lyrics or high pitch and stuff. But I do like that kind of music. I love that. I also love classic piano. I love Yiruma. These are my playlists for coding when I'm doing something and I want to focus. But not other times. Other times I just like lyrics and singing along.
No, I agree. I tend to only have my scores playlist when I'm like really needing to focus. But some of the things like on it are Jurassic Park or Forrest Gump, or I'll send you. I can actually share with you, I think, my playlist. So I'll have to send you some. Transformers is actually a really good one. So
all right, cool.
Yeah.
Wow, Jurassic Park. Is it that? Which one is that? So
the primary one when you first see the dinosaurs and it's, you know, big orchestra and stuff like that.
I still get goosebumps when I listen to that.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, anyway.
So we're like all nerds, and if you like piano, there's a composer, pianist, he got famous on YouTube named Kyle Landry, and he does like his own improvisations of like any cartoon or any like Dragon Ball Z, Lord of the Rings. He goes the whole gamut, and it's some of the best music to listen to because it's familiar songs, but it's all like classically written, and it sounds so good. I think you would like it.
That's really good. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah,
Kyle
I love piano.
Landry.
Yeah, I wrote it down. Yeah, that's great. Perfect. I love Yiruma. He's one of my favorite, and I love Japanese playlists. It's just one of those things that calms me down as well.
His famous song is "River Flows in You," right?
Yeah, yes, it is. Yeah, it's my favorite. It's my absolute favorite. I've been listening to it for years now. It's crazy.
Yeah, that was released like almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know when it was released. The first time I heard it, I knew this is going to be on my list. So
yeah, it was like 2001, I think, 2001. So and it's amazing because it's still one of the most popular piano songs out there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, there's some I had been finding, they're called the Piano Guys. I don't know if you heard of them. They're not bad. They do a lot of like movie or remakes of other pop songs in a piano version. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was John. So John Schmidt is the pianist, and then they have the cello. He's a cello player, right? The other guy, Dave?
Oh, I think so. I'm not sure. I just started recently listening to him, so.
Yeah, he's quite phenomenal.
Yeah.
Cool. There's also this other guy that I listen to quite a lot. His name is Gustavo, but I really don't know how to pronounce his last name. It's a big name. I think he's Spanish. Not sure. He has done some pretty awesome music. He did the music for one of the games, so maybe I'll just Google. We have time, right? So,
Santalala?
Yes.
I have no idea if that's how you pronounce his name.
I have no idea how to pronounce it either. But he has done some pretty awesome music, and this is his music. I mean, his playlist is one of the most played music as well when I'm when I want to work or when I want to concentrate on things or a blog or something. But he's amazing. He's done for the Motorcycle Diaries, which is my favorite movie, and Brokeback Mountain. Yeah, pretty cool music as well. David, since you mentioned about the origin
scores. Yeah, I'll have to look it up. Awesome. So you're pretty well traveled. You said your favorite place to visit is Amsterdam. The most interesting place you've ever visited is Byron Bay. So tell us a little bit about that.
I haven't actually traveled to Amsterdam. It is one of my favorite places I want to go, which I didn't. But yeah, I'll tell you about Byron Bay, because Byron Bay is like the best place on earth. Everyone has their own views, but for me, it's the place where I go to reset. It's in the border in New South Wales, which means it's closer to, it's in where Sydney is. We have to travel from here, I think around 200 kilometers from here, but it's so amazing. You have to look it up to see. I think it's also where Chris Hemsworth is, you know, he's from, and it's my absolute favorite place. And you just go there for sunrise or sunset. I love sunrise, and you just sit there, and then your whole, for me, it's like a whole reset button. It's that cool. I mean, it's nothing too special, but for me, Byron Bay is like the best place. And I miss going there because we can't, because the borders are closed. And yeah, it is one of the coolest places, even to hang out. They've got cool pubs, and it's a nice little town. So I really love it.
It's also becoming like a hotbed for millionaires. So they're building.
Really?
Like massive homes now. So the average home increased 100% from 2013 to 2018. So 5 years.
Wow.
So the average price home now is like 1.5 million Australian dollars, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit, it's hyped up a bit, but I think you know, once you go there, you know, you don't have to spend money, you know, to have fun. But it's such a cool place. It's just the whole, you know, it's an aura. I think it's something different there.
Cool. And there's like shipwrecks and stuff there. Have you like, how much have you explored around how much time have you spent there?
No, I haven't gone to these famous places around. I just been to the lighthouse. There is a place near it called Bungalow, and it's a nice little town. So basically not like museum type person, but I really like going there, just spending time you know, out there, do some hike or something. But yeah, it's probably what I've done there the most. And I haven't really looked up the famous places around Byron Bay, because I just go there and I know what I have to do. I just go there and sit there and have fun, or you know, go out and have dinner or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like vacations like that, where you don't have everything planned out, but you have some days where you just go with the flow and you end up where you end up.
Yeah, and I really, really don't like writing down where I have to go, and I'm like, oh, it's 12 o'clock, let's go there. I don't like that. I just want to take my time. If I have time, I'll do it, or I'll just, you know, live in that moment.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
So what intrigues you about Amsterdam? Why is that like one of your like top places you'd like to visit?
I don't know. I've heard so much about it, and it's one of those cool places to go to, and I never got a chance to. I worked in Germany. I wanted to travel all around Europe, and I couldn't because of, you know, how work is. And then I had this on my list ever since. I think it's been 10 years since I worked there in Europe for a small gig, but it was first on my list, so I have not forgotten that. I'm always reminding myself I have to go there because it's such a cool place. A few of my friends have been there that time, because I'm so boring, I didn't. Yeah, but so it's on my list, and I'm like, you know, I'm holding on to that list, and I have to go, so I will. So that's on my top list.
Yeah, I think Amsterdam would be a really cool place to visit. It's now like a tech hub, but it has so much history and architecture, and just it goes back a long time. So it'd be really cool to explore around and just walk along some of the rivers and stuff.
Yeah, I think Europe gives me a different feeling altogether. The architecture and everything is so awesome. I know that even coming from India, we have so many cool buildings and temples or churches or whatever. It's very similar, but even more awesome, like the paintings. And it really blew me away when I went to Paris. It wasn't as clean as I expected. Can we edit that? But anyway, yeah, but it was really amazing. So I'm hoping that every other country in Europe would be similar. It would have a lot of history, would have a lot of stuff that cool stuff that I can see. So yeah, I'm hoping Amsterdam will be the same.
So outside of Australia, so Byron Bay is your favorite place, but outside of Australia, what has been like the most interesting, fascinating place you visited that you just could go back again, either because you love the food or the culture or both?
Interesting. I think I'm always a bit, when it comes to food, I'm always leaning towards India. So I don't know, maybe I'll go back to my hometown.
You always go home, right?
Yeah, I'll go home. It's been so long since I've been there, so I think I will go there. I don't think there is any other place I've visited that I really want to go back and, except there are so much on my list that I haven't. Maybe I'll go to Dubai because it was so much fun last time. I don't know, but maybe I'll go home. Makes sense.
So that's all in the real world. Fictional worlds, though, you said the universe you would like to most live in was Pandora from Avatar. So what is intriguing about that?
Everything about it. The first time I watched that movie, I was so, glued into it that I was like, I didn't want to come out of it. It was like, those kind of movies that changes, your whole mindset. It's like a time travel to that place, right? Every movie for me that really excites me is a time travel. So when I was in that place, I was thinking, oh my God, what if this was the reality? And I really didn't have to go back to the, real world. So yeah, I still love watching that movie. I do watch it sometimes when I get the time. It's because of the world they have created, and how they connect and how there's even, I have to say that they're not humans, but there's so much more human side in that planet than on Earth. So it's really interesting, and yeah, I would love that.
And my wife loves that movie. She watches it all the time. You had mentioned when you have the time, and you need time because it's like 700 hours long, I think. But she watches it all the time. I think they're creating, Bo, you might know, is it Avatar World and is it Universal or Disney and Florida Disney World or something? They're creating a whole universe at Disney World, I think, that's dedicated to Avatar.
In the Animal Kingdom.
Yeah. How many languages do you speak?
Okay, I speak English, I speak Malayalam, which is my native language. I speak Hindi, I can speak Hindi, yes, I can. And Tamil. I don't really speak French, but I have studied French, so I know a few things, and I can say, how are you? That's all you get from 2 years of learning in school, right? So no, I wouldn't count that, but maybe 4.
Okay, and you love accents, you said, right?
Yes, I do. I love making, I don't know, I love different accents, and it really intrigues me to also, it also says something about a person as well, but I clearly never had an accent growing up. I was so destroyed by the US television, and it's something that I've always been interested in, to learn new languages, to learn the language in that accent. Because there's no point learning French and saying something completely not French. So yeah, I'm really interested in that side of things.
So then you're from southern India then?
Yes, I am.
Can you talk about what that's like? I mean, there's so many different states in India. For everyone else who has no idea what India's like, I know there's big differences between food, between the North and the South, and can you talk about that a bit?
Yep. So I'm from Kerala. I'm from Cochin, but Cochin is so much different from other parts of, I would say, even India, that we are like we're a small town, but we're also we had for years we had we've been colonized, and we have Portuguese, we have Dutch, all these people coming, and it's a tourist hub similar to Goa. It's a small Goa, I would say. So we had so many cultures influence us, influence our education, influence the way we think, our food. We have so many Portuguese cuisine, things that we fusion together with Indian stuff, basically adding a lot of onions again. Yeah, we kind of have everything so multicultural there. It's really amazing, and we have a lot of monuments and stuff that people all over the world come to watch. See, visit. Yeah, so this is the town, so keep in mind it's Cochin. If you ever have to go to India, please do not miss Cochin. It's a great place. We have beach, we have synagogues. You wouldn't believe we have a Jewish synagogue close to my house. We have a Dutch cemetery. We have a huge big cathedral built by the Portuguese. So it's really an amazing place. It's just a small Byron Bay, I would say. Byron Bay reminds me of my town.
Is that one of the reasons you think you might like going there so much, is because it reminds you a little bit of home?
Yeah. Coming to think of it, yeah, I just thought about it now. But yeah, it is.
Yeah, I was just looking up the average temperatures there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I could live there.
Yeah, it's really hot.
Oh yeah,
So
no,
I'm looking
out. I'm
at
out.
a yearly calendar, like record highs are pretty high, but the lowest temperature for the record high was August for 90.5, which is 32.5 Celsius. But
yeah.
At least you do have some coastal winds, so it has to be
Yes.
cool it down a little bit.
Yes, and air cons. Yeah, it's very similar to the how it is in Brisbane. It's tropical, very similar to Brisbane. Probably the reason why I chose Brisbane, because I love the tropical, feeling. But if you don't like it, then don't go. It doesn't snow there at all. I mean, there's absolutely no winter. I would say there's no winter.
As opposed to my current house where we got 12 feet of snow.
So when life starts to wind down, careers, you had mentioned that you wanted to start a bed and bath with your husband when you're 40. What is the appeal for you there?
I really like setting up the house. I love doing it now in my place. I love all that little things or little details that I can do. And I like when I host people, even if it's at my own party, and when I have friends coming over, I love to take care of guests. I think that's something I do naturally, and my husband feels that I should look into that kind of stuff when we're a bit older and we really cannot go behind the versions of SPFX. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I was going to say, if for people that want to run a bed and bath, they have to naturally like to kind of host people. I was going to say you probably have a lot of like dinner parties and just friends over for a variety of things. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot, but not recently, and it's killing me. But but I really love hosting parties and stuff, and I even like cleaning up. So it's really, really odd, but I love it. So I guess I'm fit for it.
Yeah, if you enjoy the cleanup, then you're definitely made for that. Then
Yeah, I do.
Excellent. So as an MVP, you've clearly started doing a lot of interacting with the community. We know you're pretty active in contributing to like the CLI. We saw that on the PNP Weekly. But how did you get involved in kind of the speaking circuit and getting more involved in blogging, and what kind of inspired you to do that?
So I've always loved watching people talk about technology, but when people talk about technology with passion, it's even a bigger thing. And every time I'm in a client meeting or every time I have an internal meeting with my colleagues, they always say that I do have something that I could share with the other world as well, to others as well, because they feel that I have some sort of a passion every time I talk about something I really like in any technology. So that's when I started thinking about it, because I never thought that I could do it, because I was always the backside person doing the coding. But this is something I started to think of. And then we have a user group here in Brisbane. We have the Brisbane 365 user group. It's largely organized by Priskex, who's also an MVP. So we got in touch. And also, I work in the same workplace where Paul Woods works. His office is right there. He is a Teams adoption specialist. He wrote a Teams book recently, and so we had this common discussion between, I think, three of us about, whether I could do something like that. And I started off with one session, and it was quite okay. And it wasn't, an experience I thought would not make an impact, but it did make an impact, and I was pretty happy with the positive outcome from it. And then I thought I'll do more, because now I know that I'm comfortable. I wasn't sure I would be comfortable. It's not like what you do in school, right? It's like you have to talk about stuff, you have to get feedback, you have to ask, you have to answer questions. So I wasn't sure if I was ready for that, but felt right in the place when I was doing it. So I started doing more.
Can you talk about your experience with the 365 CLI team, how you got into working on that, and kind of your experience with it? Because I feel there are a lot of people in the community who don't contribute because they have fears of either showing their code or whatever. Can you talk about how you got into it, and what that experience has been like for you?
Yeah, sure. And it's one of the things I love to talk about as well, because, yeah, like you said, there is a lot of, you have it in your mind thinking that it might not be appropriate, and what if they judge your code? It's totally not the case. It's everything is super appreciated in the community, and I didn't know about this until I started doing it. So I had the privilege of working with Mark Powney, who is my team lead at the moment. He was a contributor, and those are the things that I think made me come into this community side of things, because he talked to me about his contribution and how he did it, and I could see that from what he had done. I could see how how awesome the team, the maintainers were, and how they reviewed the PR. I could see that there is absolutely no judgment or no right or wrong. They are super grateful of how you're helping out, and I think they value that most. And not what you're pushing in the code, but they value the time you spend and the energy you spend, even if it's a suggestion, even if it's a form of an issue you open. They value that as a big deal, and that's what everyone should think of. It's a I cannot explain it more. You just have to get out there and start working on or look into one of those issues and start off having a conversation with them, and then you'll get it, because they help you out as well. It's not like you're this one person who's assigned to a task and you have to carry it to the finish. It's like they're there to help you. You have a question on an API that's not working, go for it. They'll help you. They will probably suggest you something to do. If you've got a query on the logic side of things, or how you have to approach that particular issue or a particular command, they help you out. So it's all about that. First, keep aside your egos. I would say, there are different ways people work. There's different coding style. It doesn't matter. Just get out there, and they will just lead you through till the end. So yeah, that's my take on it.
The PMP community is just so fantastic from that perspective, where keep your egos at the door. Like, yeah, there are fantastic developers out there, but if you feel like you want to contribute, the best advice is just do it, right? And the response you'll get back is, hey, this looks fantastic, or hey, how about let's think about doing it like this? And it's not a judgment there.
No.
area. And if you need help with that, I know some people who can help you get to those contributions, right, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little thing called sharing is caring that actually is about trying to help out there, right? So, yeah, that's awesome. So for you, it probably was like any of us. I know that my first contribution, I think I had a heart attack the first time I hit like submit, right? Like, oh my gosh, did I do it right? Did I do it wrong? Are they gonna judge me? Probably the same for you, and I think it's the same for everybody. But now that you've done it, like, what is you'd mentioned a little bit of it, like just get out there, but what would be your advice to those who are kind of on the fence and wanting to get involved?
Just think that you're going to get a lot from this. You're going to learn a lot. Because when I started contributing, I knew exactly how it worked, how things were. I have applied so much of that practice in my daily life. So think of it as a training or an internal thing that you're trying to do, or you're working on yourself, you're working on your coding style, whatever it is. Just think that it's going to be beneficial to you. It is going to be beneficial to you. Just don't think too much about your code or your practices. I think once you start working on the project, you understand how it is already working, how you have to do things. There is a lot of help around. So do not hesitate, start working. Even if you don't really have to even jump on and do a pull request, or a code thing, but you can even suggest something. That's also a contribution. And one of the things I have to say is not to see a lie. Even the PNP React controls, I had a question from one of our clients to improve I think it was a taxonomy figure or something, and I went there and I asked a question, hey, can we add this particular feature to this control? And I think it was Alex who picked it up, and he was like, oh, that's a great suggestion, and he already started working on it. And I was really surprised. So that's how they are. I mean, they don't push you to do that stuff, it's not like, oh, can you pick it up? No, sometimes they ask you for that because they don't have time, but they're also picking up your suggestions. So yeah, even if it's just a suggestion that you have in your mind, a command that you would like to see or you would like to use, just go in there and put a contribution. Then you will start getting the hang of it, and then you will try and communicate with them more and more, and you'll get to understand how cool it is to work with these people.
Cool, very cool. Yeah, I mean, there's so many opportunities now too, right? A lot of it is coding, but you've got the community docs by Mark Anderson now. That's more for some of the people that enjoy documentation and formalizing a lot of that. So one of the things we've got coming up with Parker's Place, which is the store, we're going to have community submitted designs and do special editions every month for those who are more into design and the graphic side of things. So, it's really, we're looking for a lot of opportunities and ways for people to contribute and not have to feel like, oh, there's no place for me because I'm not a coder, right? That mindset is not, there's no place for that. So I think it's exciting to see what else we're going to have in store.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then on the documentation front, like obviously that is the last thing that every developer wants to do, right? So there are lots of areas where we need more documentation, and the platform moves so fast. We get updates from SharePoint framework or graph, and then the docs are out of date because the user experience different or something changes, right? And so even simple things as just changing a paragraph of how something changed or updating a screenshot because the UX has changed is a huge contribution for everyone else who is trying to adopt the platform or adopt the technology. So lots of opportunities for anyone to get involved, and you might start with documentation and then you might move into doing your own code change, and it could be something simple, right? So there was like a if that was wrong and you change it. So find whatever opportunities you can, and there are plenty of them to get involved with the community.
Yeah, exactly right. Especially about the UI side of things, there's so much change. Even the other day we were looking at Azure portal, and it has changed a lot. And yeah, these are the things you could get out there and update, and you'll get the hang of it once you do your first pull request. Like David said, it's that one moment, and then after that it's all gone. Then you get into the groove.
Yeah, and even if that stresses you out, like Bo said, we've got the sharing is caring, and that's expanding, and we're going to walk people through how to do it. And you don't have to feel like you're alone. That's the biggest thing, because you're not. The community is global, and everyone is there to help. So.
Yep.
My first contribution on the GitHub side of things was just a spelling mistake. So you start somewhere.
Yep.
Yes. It's
and
important.
There's nothing on, yeah, exactly. And there's nothing on the slides that say, oh, spelling correction, asterisk, right? We're all equal contributors. And
right.
so it's all important. There's nothing, that's what we always talk about in the sharing is caring sessions. It's like every contribution matters. Don't feel like, oh, I'm just doing documentation. That's kryptonite to, like Bo said, to a lot of developers.
I was going to say, nothing angers me more than seeing a documentation and seeing SharePoint without the P capitalized or SharePoint with a space between it. So if anyone sees docs and they're like, that's not right, change it, because you saved me all the pain of having to read that.
That's actually what we do in the first sharing is caring session. We actually correct that exact thing. So one of the segments that we've been doing ever since Ignite with Vesa is kind of a rapid fire and a fill in the blank. So we'll start with rapid fire, and I'll just give you two choices. You'll choose one spontaneously, and then we'll move on to the next.
Okay.
Sound good? Ready?
Yeah, ready.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Wine or beer?
Beer.
Treadmill or couch?
Couch.
Texting or talking?
Texting.
Cake or pie?
Cake.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Ask permission or beg for forgiveness?
Ask permission.
More time or more money?
More time, because that's more money.
Interesting, yeah. Okay.
But only if you continue to work, though. Or you get lucky and you just accrue money over time, right? I mean.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Anyway, I got the point though, but yeah.
All right. Fill in the blank. If only one artist on your playlist, who would it be?
Really tough. Coldplay for now.
Okay. Best ice cream flavor is?
Chocolate.
All right. The first topping on a pizza should be?
Pepperoni.
If you could have one superpower, it would be?
Okay. Fly, so I can travel the world.
Flying?
I'm bad at this. I didn't think through. Anyway.
No, actually, that's the same as me. Like mine is flying or teleportation, right? I guess teleportation.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that would be cool. Yes. That's not superpower. That's something.
Yeah, I get motion sickness, so it's like I just want to beam me up, Scotty.
Plus, they don't say how fast you can fly. Like, what if you were flying at like a mile an hour, right? It would take you forever to get anywhere. You would just waste time traveling. So teleportation is a pretty good.
Yeah, I think I'll go for that. Thanks, David, for helping me out.
Good point. Excellent.
So then the last question that I always ask, and it's a little bit difficult now because we're in this COVID world. So if anyone's going to slide into your DMs or if they're going to see you at a conference, what's a good icebreaker? We know that you like coffee and you drink lots of it. You really love where you live. But what other topics, if someone was to come up to you at a conference that you're speaking at and just wanted to introduce themselves? Because sometimes it's the hardest thing for someone from the outside coming in.
Yeah, but my answer is music. Yeah, because I think you already know now. Because you can talk about music. You just build out a few playlists. We talked about some musicians, and it was pretty natural when we were in that conversation. So I guess music is the first thing that could be an icebreaker for me. Music and food. Yeah, food too.
Music and food.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Rabia, for joining us today. We appreciate you taking the time to join us and let the community know a little bit more about who you are and what you like. So thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for inviting me. It was great. I had absolute blast for 1 hour. It was amazing. It was like hanging out again with with friends. And thanks for
Awesome.
that.
All right, thank you.